Hey guys, welcome to Choppin It. My name's
Hi,
Zion.
I'm Shatari.
And I'm Torshay. I'm coming.
Here comes Shay, prepping.
All right.
All right now. Well, first and foremost, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy 2021.
Yes.
We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. For those who have subscribed, we're having some technical difficulties loading last week's footage.
But it was good.
But it was really good, which is what I was about to say. It was in reference to your breaking point, and knowing when your breaking point is and how to move forward when you reach that. So we'll definitely try to get that loaded up for you guys so you can keep all the episodes in order. You feel me? So tonight, I feel like I want to talk about fertility. And I just want that to be the main topic because there's so many subtopics off of that. But I want to talk about pretty much the parenting part of fertility. Good parent versus bad parent. So we're going to spend some time just kind of deciphering our opinions about what we feel like is good parenting versus bad parenting. And obviously this is our sole opinions only, so no offense to anyone. If we prick a nerve, do apologize. It was probably you, do apologize. But we just want to keep it real one time. So I want to start with the topic in dealing with fertility, the subtopic of baby mamas and baby daddies. Because I feel like, and we've had this conversation many times before, Torshay, I feel like, because you've asked me how many kids can a man have before I'm like cool off of
Right.
it, you know? And it's really something that we have to look at because my answer was if a man has a lot of children by one woman, that to me is excusable. You know what I'm saying? I can deal with him because the kids is not an issue or a factor because they came out of that soul relationship,
Right.
you know? So that to me says that you were with her building a family, you know what I'm saying? But if you have the same amount of children and you have multiple baby mamas, then I need to look at that before I even decide to open my legs and be unprotected with you. Like, I don't mind giving you the punani and us having a good time, but I need to sit there and look at, okay, how many kids does he have? You know what I'm saying? How many baby mamas does he have? How active is he in his kid's life? You know what I'm saying? Does he support his kids? Not just being there and messing with the baby mama, but literally supporting them financially. You know what I'm saying?
Would that change anything? Like if he had multiple kids by multiple women, but he took care of them financially?
No,
lives?
it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't because it should tell you that, okay, he's a responsible person, but at the same time, he's irresponsible in some ways because even though you think you can take care of multiple kids, if you have multiple kids spread out amongst different households, that's just unhealthy.
Right.
It's unhealthy for the child as they grow up because now, whether they know their sibling or not, it's kind of like they're only going to be close to the siblings that they have with their mother. You know what I'm saying? Versus the siblings that they have by their father. They'll acknowledge them and be like, oh, you know, I have kids by my dad, but on my mom's side, like, you shouldn't have to have a conversation like that when someone asks you how many brothers and sisters you have. Because I do that. You know, I say I have 3 on my mom's side, but I have several, you know, through my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it just hurts because even with that, me being older and wanting to have a relationship with my siblings that I didn't know, they weren't in their psychological standpoint wasn't to where they wanted to actively be involved in a relationship at that stage, you know, versus us kind of be maybe familiar with each other as kids growing up. Maybe it would have been different, but us being adults finding out like, oh, she's my sister or that's my brother, it's like, okay, that's my brother, but you know, it's kind of like we grown, like, okay, I see you, you know.
That's what it is.
But I do think that we need to factor those type of things in because it just shows a lot about character and no one wants to be the next baby mama, you know what I'm saying? And I'll make one more reference and then I'll pass it to Zion to see what she thinks about that. But one of the things that went viral was pretty much NBA YoungBoy, you know, being 20 years old, having 7 children. you know, and obviously his latest child, well, he just had another one, if I'm not mistaken, recently, but the child that hit the headlines was Floyd Mayweather's daughter. I don't know her name, but yeah, he had a baby by her, and she made the 6th child. And at the time that it was in the tabloids, they were saying that he has another baby along the way the next month. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, you're 20 years old with 7 children. By the time your children are 18, like, you can't even teach them anything. You are a rapper, for God's sake, which is just means that you are an entertainer, which so much goes on behind the scenes with that. If you think that that money is going to last to send a kid to college or to set them up for success and to actively be involved, first of all, at 20 years old, your nuts just dropped not too long ago. So how do you teach kids how to be a kid when you can't even buy alcohol yet? So, I mean, Zion, how do you feel? Like, how do you, and you're a young woman because you are approaching 21. So, what's your thought with dealing with men your age, young men, or men my age, or in between that has just multiple kids? And do you think that it's the man's fault that fosters that, or do you think it's the woman that needs to be more responsible?
Yeah, I definitely think it falls on the women because, I mean, I think if a dude has multiple baby moms, like you said, that's just a sign from the jump because, I mean, yeah, that's all I have to say there. Right, but I mean, as a woman, you're the one responsible for the baby. I know they help you make it, but I mean, you're the one who has to carry it out for 9 months. So if you see the signs and you see that this isn't going to be what you think it is, you have the choice to just end it all, but that's my opinion when it comes to that.
What do you think, sis?
Ooh, it's a hard one. I'm kind of, I don't know if I can be, but I think it's 50-50. And it really can't be, but, you know, it's the man's responsibility because he should have either used protection or pull out, but it's the woman's too. Like, you know, I think a woman knows what she's getting into when she's with a man, if he has a lot of kids, if you want to be baby mama 4, 5, 6. But I think we know what we're getting into before it even goes down. So it's a decision you have to make. Do you want to bring another child into this world and make the 5th baby mama or the 6th baby mama, or, you know, do what you need to do?
Yeah. Do you think, like, us as Americans, like, we're just irresponsible when it comes to parenting and our fertility? Because, you know, there's some countries that put a limit on households and how many children you can have. And believe it or not,
I think we should do that.
I think that's a really good idea because if I only have, or if I'm only allowed to have 2 children, I could literally focus on those children, give them everything that they deserve, need, and desire, send them to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can give them such a great head start. Versus if I have, which is myself, I have 5 children. You know what I'm saying? I do my best as I go through with each one to try to do more for the others, you know, and even Zion's had that conversation with me, how flexible I am with the other kids and how I didn't give her those things that I give them or how I didn't act a certain way. But it's just like, you know, when you're torn between so many individuals, because that's exactly what they are, you know, they're children, but they're actually individuals. So when you're torn, it's like you can only give them so much.
Right.
You know, and then you have these young ladies and young men that are having babies. So now you're stuck on a system or stuck on Section 8 or stuck on welfare. So now your kid really isn't able to see, you know what I'm saying, the glorious opportunities that life have because you're stuck in a bubble, you know, and unless they grow up and just want to do better, you know, they might follow the same cycle or get with another woman and or man and or situation that's familiar as to the situation they had growing up. So now the cycle continues. So now you got a man that don't really care about safe sex, don't really care about popping out kids, you know, and then you have women now that just feel like, oh, well, you know, I think they get it twisted between intimacy and love.
Very much so.
You know, because you have this great sex, and don't get me wrong, these men, they know what they doing. You know what I'm saying? They know what they doing. Yes. You know, But let's not get it twisted. Good
There's
loving and good intimacy does not mean this man loves you. Does not mean that this man is capable of being a man.
Right.
Especially if you look at everything that he has. And I'm not talking about just the swag with the Jordans and the jeans and the waves and the watches. Like, you got to look past all the physical, because half the time they still stay with their mama. Half the time the female still stay with her parents, or room sharing, or struggling, trying to pay rent because she want to try to be on her own with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's so many factors that I feel like we ignore, and as a result, we bring these kids into the world, and it's just like
keep the dude.
They fall into situations, men and women. They fall into situations that they've just never been taught. So I think it's to blame the both, for not just acknowledging. Men, for one, like to find women that are similar to their mothers, because they long for nurturing women. You know what I'm saying? They will sleep with any woman, but the ones that they want a wife and the ones they want to be with, they want more of a nurturing type of woman. You know what I'm saying? That's very domesticated, but still very independent, And then I feel like the women, we want the same thing, but then we turn around and be like, oh, he ain't never had nobody to love him.
Try to fix him.
And the last couple, his mom and dad just did him so bad. And we start doing this empathizing, not sympathizing, but we start doing this empathizing. And before you know it, girl, he riding in the whip. We done moved him into the house.
Taking you to work.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we done gave him way too many privileges. All because we feel sorry. And each time we see the true colors, we make it up in our mind that, because I have a kid by him and I don't want my kid to be without a father.
Yeah.
Or, first of all, ladies, let's cut that shit out. Your kid is better off without a deadbeat or toxic person around them than you just doing it by yourself and finding some willing person out here in the world that actually wants to step in and love you and make you feel valuable and be that person that your kids call dad, pops, or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just crazy. And I hope that we get better in 2021 with making good decisions. Because again, I don't feel like there's a deadbeat dad. I don't think there's a such thing. I think that men, us women, we birth these men. And then we don't teach them certain things. So then when they get off on their own, and just because they think they're grown, when they start making life decisions, you can see the child in them. That's why at our age, because we say it, Zion probably ain't gonna say it yet, but then I find that she does say it sometimes. You would be like, he should just know better.
We said that a bunch of times.
But that's because we got common sense and we've been taught. But now we have to, in 2021, start checking ourselves, because how can he know better? Maybe his mama was only 15 when she had him and didn't really go through the cycles of life because he was a boy, and did the best she could with talking about the birds and the bees, but really didn't go into detail to where he can use those things to identify what being a man is later on.
Right.
And no different than a woman. These men get with these women and they don't clean, they don't know how to cook. You know what I'm saying? They kids and dressing their kids cute is the only thing that they are involved in, because their kids is disrespectful, bad. You know what I'm saying? And too damn grown for their age.
I agree.
Which means that you ain't been teaching them.
Focus on, the kid looking cute and wearing the latest J's. And, You know what I'm saying? Having their kids fresh.
Yeah. So I don't know, but it's something, like I said, that we need to get better at.
So women options for birth control, so many options now.
There is.
So many.
There is. And sometimes, to our defense, sometimes it's late in the game when we identify that it's all bad. Sometimes they switch up. Sometimes we switch up. If we realize this ain't what we want, like, dude, he was cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, and like Zion said, she made a very important point. Like, you are the author of what your life, other than the good Lord, I don't want to get struck down for saying this, but you are the author of what your life should and could be. So if I see that something is not working, I'm not going to sit here and make a reason and an excuse of why I can make it work.
Right.
And like she said, I had 2 abortions, one by her father, one by the twins' father. And it came at a time where when I was married to her father, it was like, okay, well, we're really not vibing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been all bad for a second. You know what I'm saying? And just because we married don't mean nothing. So when I popped up pregnant, I had to really pray on that situation and be like, nah. You know, because of course he was like, well, you know, we can do this. It's all good. No, we ain't even getting it done now.
Yeah.
We're neglecting our daughter now because we're probably about to split, and she'll probably won't see you, or just be in 2 different households trying to get parental love. Like, I'm not gonna bring another kid into that.
Yeah.
No different with the twins' father. You know, you doing all kind of stuff, leaving your job, don't want to be responsible, don't want to kick no funds, like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to look at it like, okay, I thought you had potential. That's why I was messing with you, because you showed me some things that was pretty promising. But after the twins came and shit, damn near a year after that, you got to acting crazy. And I got knocked up again and had to check myself. It is what it is, because for one, it's a fire in me that just burns when I think of dismissing a child. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel responsible because I should have known better. You know, we shouldn't wait till we have a fetus within us or the womb is occupied to be like, okay, what do I do now? Like, those decisions should be made right in the moment. You know?
Sometimes you get caught up in the moment. It's not an excuse, but I think that's how it goes. You get caught up in the moment at times.
You do, and that's a good point, sis. Because when you get caught up in a moment, you gotta see where do I see myself at in 6 months? Like Zion, you're about to be 20 this year. You know what I'm saying? Still don't have any children. You know, already graduated high school, got her little certificate, not little, but got her certificate in her RMA, doing career style stuff. Like, that is technically the way a young woman is supposed to come into maturity.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Because once you get your career established, once you start enjoying your own life, knowing what you want, knowing what makes you happy, then you could bring another individual in that circle and show them something good. You can't possibly show nobody and nothing, man, woman, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, kid, if you don't got nothing or know nothing. Because all you giving them is an opinion. So, I mean, if she chose to have children now, it'll just be her option to have a child. Because it was her option to finish school. So she had to put a game plan in place to see, okay, how am I going to finish school? Okay, I got to do this, and I shouldn't be doing this and shouldn't be doing that. So I guess the bottom line, it's really just options. Where do you see yourself being, and does it factor allowing another financial burden? I'm gonna say that with all respect, because a child is a financial burden between diapers and daycare and everything else. You know what I'm saying? As they get older, shoes and just trying to make sure they stay in with the fad. Like, either way it goes, it's a financial burden. Are you willing to bring that into your life and treat it equally? Or are you gonna add a burden to your life and still be selfish and only do you?
Yeah. No, that's something you can't do. I think once you have a child, you gotta sacrifice. It's all about your child at the time.
It is.
It can't be about you once you have that child. And a lot of people don't realize that. It's no longer about you once you have a kid. It's about your child.
It is all about your child. And I've made so many mistakes. Grandmother used to tell me, you know, once you have a kid, your life is over. And, you know, sometimes women, we're very rebellious. Like, if somebody tell us something, we just do it just because you telling us we can't do it. So when she used to tell me my life is over, I'm like, no, it ain't. Like, I can still do all these things and have a child. But it didn't work out that way. You know, I was still trying to be youthful and still trying to live my life. And yeah, I was making sure my kids was home safe and gave them money to get snacks and all that. But I wasn't there. That's bad parenting. Or running off state to state with my husband all this year. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I love my husband, and yes, I think it was very healthy for our relationship. But my kids didn't come with me near time. And I went to 8 different states and had 12 different experiences. To me, that's bad parenting, in a sense. So 2021, you know, that's my goal, to be a better parent and acknowledge areas where I can do better, because it's not just the children. You know what I'm saying? It's their whole psychological warfare that they'll be dealing with as adults. Mm-hmm. And then when they get into a situation, people wondering why we so throwed off, because there's things that they were going through as young children, and you can't blame their parents because their parents did the best they can. But sometimes we got to just stop saying I'm doing the best I can and just stop doing it. Mm-hmm. Just stop having the kids. You know, mm-hmm. Be with the man for a good year before you have a child with him. Mm-hmm. If he can stick with you for a year, I think it's safe to have a child with him. Same thing for a man. Like, don't just be raw dogging. Mm-hmm. I know it feels good, but don't just be raw dogging, because you don't want just any baby mama.
Yeah. That's all this quote said. 2 things: be careful who you marry, and be careful who you have your kids with.
Yes. Because you know how we are, girl. We be like, you can't have my baby around this person. You can't do, like, we get to playing games and it don't even be about the kid no more. It just be all about us. You know? So yeah, fertility, I think, is something that we need to learn how to control. We need to learn how to be more responsible and manage better. Because for one, you can't, having kids. I was 15 when I had my first daughter. You know what I'm saying? Love her to death. Love her to death. I was 20 when I had my second child. You know what I'm saying? And even though my kids are gapped all 5 years apart, because I was trying to create families with these individuals, the bottom line is I didn't have any guidance. And I thought what I was doing was me being grown, doing the right thing, when I should have continued to think I was grown, but be more responsible. Mm-hmm. Travel more with the mate. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Try to just develop more of a foundation before I bring a child in, because statistically, if you and a man is not friends prior to dating, mm-hmm. or have good chemistry prior to dating, technically it'll be about 18, 19 months before things get rocky, and before that child is 3, you guys will not be together anymore. And that is so unfair to a child, to be detached in the midst of the developmental stage when you're grasping love. You know what I'm saying? It's just really unfair. And then now you have abandonment issues, so you growing up and your mom's trying to be with these other men because she's trying to fill a void, not realizing that these other men are coming out of your home. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Dealing with your kids, but you got to be responsible, because I had a lot of kids, but each man that I wanted to try something new with, you have to come either before,
or while they were asleep.
Oh
yeah.
My kids cannot see you in my house.
Be gone before they wake up.
Yes. Clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
And if they wake up, then you better wait. You better wait for I get to be a distraction or something, you know. But again, understanding that I'm at fault and trying to find an alternative to be more responsible. You know what I'm saying? There's always just a better way to do things. So
yeah, I agree.
And for those mothers out there who are, you know, going through things right now with your spouse, significant other, baby daddy, baby, even your baby mama, I guess, nowadays, just know that, just focus on your children. You know, that's really the bulk of this message that I kind of wanted to share, because as the children grows old, as they develop into their own individuality, they could really be affected by some of the decisions, some of the things that they've seen, and some of the feelings that have caused them to basically react in certain ways. And people will never understand. You know, and some people don't have the time to understand. So there might be a good girl out there or a good guy out there that just can't find love because no one wants to take the time to try to understand them. Yeah. You know, and that's not their fault. It starts at home. It always starts at home. And I'm very proud of my daughter, because we had a little spat, and she came and was very mature and sat down and called a meeting. She's very articulate. She's always calling meetings for everything. But he called a meeting so that she could have a conversation. And to me, I felt like, you know, through all the bad that I feel like I did, there has been some good, you know, for a young lady to humble herself and take all the fear out and have a conversation with moms. that shows maturity. You know, if you can have a conversation with your mother or someone who you highly respect in lieu of an issue or problem, you can do anything. You can do anything. So yeah. So kudos to everyone. I hope everyone had a great New Year's.
Yes.
I had a good New Year's. Brought it in. Doing what I do most, me. Anything else? Shout out for the drink tonight. This is
the drink of choice, Moscow Bar chocolate liqueur tonight.
Very good.
Very good. I went with the little dash of water for
on the rocks
tonight.
Yeah, this tastes like a fudge sickle.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Tastes just like a fudge sickle. And you said you added a little Malibu.
Oh no.
Oh, this is just the liqueur by itself.
Mm-hmm. Is it strong?
No.
I thought it was.
I thought it had a little bite in there.
Just the ice, girl. It's the ice water.
Oh, it's the ice. Okay.
But it's still good.
Okay. Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe,
and comment.
And we thank you for your comments, guys.
We really do. We really
appreciate that a lot. We be talking a lot, so some things we can't remember what we want to talk about for you guys. But if there's anything that you want to hear about, talk about, know about,
comment below.
Yes. So we have a saying. We always love to say it. We always normally mess it up, so I'm pretty sure you guys be laughing at us like, how can it be our saying and y'all can't never get it right? Just because we stupid like that. But it's still our saying. So it either way it goes. I am great.
I will be great.
And I will do great things.
So just keep that in mind as we go into 2021. Own it. Live your best life.
It's your year, baby.
Yes, do something different. And we'll see you next week, guys.
All right, take care, guys.
Yeah, this was good.
I liked it.